Look at that. Holy smokes, man.
The greatest adventure ever in human history. It'd be so exciting to wake up in the morning and think that that's what's happening.
If you are easily triggered, you should know that I am a white, heterosexual, cisgender Christian male. This is Dan Dicks here, reporting for Press for Truth with breaking news. It looks like Elon Musk will be purchasing Twitter after all. He's going with his original offer of $54.20. Of course, he has to have the numbers 420 in the offer. But at any rate, this is a $44 billion deal, which looks like it will be soon going through. In fact, he just said yesterday on his official Twitter account, buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the everything app. And this whole situation about bringing free speech back to the platform has everyone on the left completely freaking out. Be afraid, be actually afraid. Reporters panic at the thought of Twitter restoring free speech protections. You know, it's almost like as if these people think that this is what's going to happen if, Elon Musk gains the reins there at Twitter and the floodgates will be open and people like this are going to be flooding to the platform. Well, maybe that's not such a bad thing, guys, because the censorship has been brutal. In case you didn't know, my personal Twitter account was once suspended simply because I said a man is not a woman. And I referred to this guy, Jessica Yaniv, as a him. And Twitter made me delete this tweet in order to reinstate my personal account. That's not free speech, guys. There's nothing free about that speech whatsoever. And in fact, the attacks continued, as you see here, as my Press for Truth account was suspended on Twitter in the latest tech war mega strike. And this one in particular, guys, is actually indefinite. It's currently still suspended. I don't know when it's going to be reinstated, if it ever will. And as far as I know, this is the only platform that does this. Like other platforms where you get a warning or you have a strike or you're temporarily suspended, there's usually a date on when that's going to be lifted. Not in the case of Twitter here, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, there is no free speech on this platform. Now, I want to remind you that back when this whole thing began, Elon Musk was claiming that the reason why he didn't want to go through with this whole acquisition was because Twitter was not being open about the amount of bots on the platform. And I remember at the time I was thinking this is a brilliant ruse, the idea of purchasing Twitter in order to just expose the fact that there's a huge bot operation that is going on Twitter. And in fact, there truly is. This is something that I've been exposing over the years as well. In fact, I put this one out. Oh, when is this? Back in 2020, the coronavirus 5G PSYOP exposed, live with Press for Truth, guys. And if, in case you didn't know, there was a conspiracy theory about 5G creating coronavirus sicknesses, and I exposed this as being a Twitter bot operation. And it was a conspiracy that was hatched and launched, carried out by Twitter bots, picked up by the mainstream media, permeated into the minds of the masses, so that anytime somebody speaks negatively about 5G or coronavirus, they can paint them in this picture of being a crazy conspiracy theorist. The whole thing was orchestrated by bots. So the idea that he was trying to expose that, I thought was a pretty good thing. But now we're being led to believe that he's attempting to move us into an area of free speech, and that must be thoroughly debunked today, guys, moving forward. So today we're going to take a look at this. Elon Musk teases X app that will do everything after he closes this Twitter deal. We're going to talk all about that and much more in this video, guys. But really quickly, before we do, I'd ask that you check me out here at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. This is like a Patreon alternative because I have been kicked off of Patreon. Here's where you can sign up for a monthly recurring amount, $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever is within your means, guys, is greatly appreciated. As I said, I have been kicked off of Patreon, and this is a fantastic Patreon alternative where you can contribute to my efforts on a monthly basis. Thank you so much to everyone who has signed up to my Subscribestar account here. I can't do this work without you. Once again, if you are interested, check out the links in the description below. All right, guys, I wanted to start with this funny headline, which I thought was kind of silly. Elon Musk selling Tesla stock to fund his Twitter takeover is like giving away caviar to buy $2 pizza, Wedbush's Dan Eves said. Well, the funny thing about this is I think most people prefer pizza to caviar. In fact, if you were to do some sort of poll and walk out in the streets with a pepperoni cheese pizza and a bowl of caviar with a spoon, I think you're probably going to get more people being interested in the pizza. And guess what? You're going to sell a heck of a lot more $2 pizzas than you are going to a bunch of caviar that nobody necessarily wants. So I thought this was a little silly. But anyways, guys, let's get into the article that I wanted to read to you here today. Billionaire Elon Musk teased his plans to create a mysterious app dubbed X on Wednesday, hours after he reversed course and offered to buy Twitter at its original price of $44 billion. Musk has provided very few details about his plans for X. Despite hinting about its development on multiple occasions in the last year, the Tesla CEO's latest comment indicates that he sees Twitter's platform as a key building block. Buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the everything app, Musk tweeted in his first public confirmation on the proposal. And then he actually had this guy chime in right here. I think it would have been easier to just, start X from scratch, though. And Elon Musk replied, Twitter probably accelerates X by 3 to 5 years, but I could be wrong. So here we see that he's interested in purchasing Twitter to turn it into his dream of having the everything app called X. But here's where the problem lies, folks. While Musk hasn't elaborated on what an X app will look like or what it'll take, Bloomberg noted that he's praised the Tencent-owned social media app WeChat, which allows users access to services ranging from payments to food delivery to ordering cars online. Conversely, WeChat, guys, is widely viewed as a government surveillance tool in China that is also subject to heavy censorship, even as Musk has touted his plans to remake Twitter as a so-called beacon of free speech. So again, everybody knows WeChat is a government surveillance tool that is subject to heavy, heavy censorship. And now we're getting into exactly what I've been warning about for a very, very long time. I think maybe 5 or 6 years since I started to seeing what was going to be coming down the pike for us here in the West. And I first noticed this when I saw that China was introducing this new system called Sesame Credit. And I knew back then that this was totally a blueprint for the West. They're going to work it out there first, and then they need to sell it to us next. In case you haven't seen it, guys, check out this video I did. When was it? 2016. So 5 years ago, China's Sesame Credit, a blueprint for the West. The Chinese government has created a new social engineering scheme called Sesame Credit, which looks and acts like a game, but its true purpose is to garner obedience to the state. The system rates Chinese citizens on how closely they adhere to the party line. It pulls data from the internet, social media, online purchases, and search histories. In this video, Dan Dicks of Press for Truth shows how a voluntary social credit system for the West isn't too far-fetched, and with corporate state media approval, it could be sold to the public fairly easily, guys. Exactly what I was talking about back in 2016, I believe, is what we are starting to see right now under Elon Musk and this so-called banner of restoring the beacon and the open square of free speech that is Twitter. No, ladies and gentlemen, do not trust this billionaire oligarch who wants to put a microchip in your brain, for crying out loud. This man has already praised the WeChat app, which, as we've seen, is highly censoring the people in China. It's a surveillance tool, essentially. And as I've warned years ago, this is a blueprint for the West, but they need somebody to sell this to the West, and it's going to be a voluntary Sesame Credit system. And unfortunately, there's people are going to be clamoring for this thing because they're going to be thinking that this is going to be positive and progressive moving forward. Meanwhile, I think it's going to be a major step backwards, guys. Here is a link to where I put this out on YouTube 5 years ago. Again, if you haven't seen this, guys, please check it out, because it really does paint the blueprint which is coming here for the West. And as I said, I think Elon Musk is being used as the spokesperson for this app. Again, WeChat has 1 billion users, and Musk's vision is that the X app, which is apparently going to do everything, is going to be very comparable to the WeChat app with 1 billion users in China there, which, as we already know, is heavily censored, heavily controlled surveillance tool. Don't fall for the trap, ladies and gentlemen. Again, these billionaire oligarchs cannot be trusted, and when he's appearing to be a champion of free speech, I would ask that you take a look at some of my previous work on this to show you that it is in fact the opposite that is going on. We're going to be moving into a social credit system where your obedience to the state will be logged, and your green check mark might turn to a red X, depending again on your obedience to the state and your willingness or unwillingness to go along with the status quo. So be leery of that moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, I want to remind you to check me out at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. Again, this is where you can sign up for a monthly recurring contribution. $5, $10, $20, anything is greatly appreciated if you can contribute to my efforts moving forward. And that's all for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in once again. Please don't forget to share this video, click that thumbs up button, and stay tuned. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.